Okay, recording.
Yeah, got it.
The bossy British lady.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. So, the hair's not very good, but that's okay. Doesn't matter.
And mine's not either, but
who cares? Well, we're not
Yeah.
actually recording. I'm just really want to record the audio portion of this. So, no, transcribe it. So, yay.
Yes.
Yay us. Here we go again.
There we go.
What's going on?
So I just turned off the phone and hung it up.
Oh, okay. Good. So this basically will work just like last time.
Yeah.
And we have questions. We just chit chat, and then I will. These are just sort of free ranging questions, as you wish, and answer what you want, say what you want, don't say what you want, record what you want.
Yeah.
And we'll just go from there.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay.
So first of all, again, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate you being my sister as well as my subject.
Oh, of course.
and
happy to. Yeah.
And the other thing too is that the point of doing this again is sort of asking some of the same questions and asking some of the same questions in a different way after a year's has gone by.
Right. Yeah.
Right. A year in which you've sort of had experiences as an autistic person and experience as a person, still sort of battling cancer. God damn that metaphor. It's really stupid. So, living with kids or experiencing kids or whatever the heck we still need better words for that.
Yeah. Dealing with it.
Dealing with it. Just dealing with it. So this is called Take 2 1 year later.
Yeah.
Oh, what's for breakfast? What are we having?
Oh, smoothie.
That looks gross. Oh, mine looks worse. What's in yours?
Oh, berries and frozen berries and cherries. I've got pineapple. Yes, dear. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll go get that.
You went to get something.
We found this.
What'd you get? Oh, the smoothie Bible.
Yeah, that's for you.
Oh.
Yeah.
So is your recipe from in there?
No, I just kind of make it up as I go along.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Got pineapple, berries and cherries, lemon yogurt. What else? Some good. Juice. Yeah, no, it tastes really good. I find out what do you put in? Oh, and then greens powder and collagen powder.
Oh, which greens powder do you use?
I'll get it.
That's a smoothie. Smoothie stuff. The smoothie recipe. The smoothie recipe.
There we go. Called Genuine Health Extra Energy Greens Plus.
Ooh. We need that.
I do feel better.
Yeah. I've been taking a greens powder, the AG1.
Oh yeah.
And it's greens plus all the vitamins you need in it. So I don't actually take any other supplements now. So it's expensive. It comes from New Zealand. Actually, Richard and Erica got me onto it, and Dad and Gabriella take it too. And it's so like I was taking various supplements and probiotics and blah blah, all these other collagens and all the stuff, right? And you add all that stuff up, and it's really expensive.
It's more than
this. So this is with shipping. I think it's $112 a month, but then that's it. That's all I pay.
Yeah, that's all you.
Like I don't buy anything else, right? I have no other vitamins, no cupboard full of supplements. No, nothing. It has B12 and all the vitamins we need in it. So, anyway, a word from your sponsor. Okay.
Lindsey feels really good, didn't she?
Politics AG1. Ha ha.
That's right.
Hilarious. If only we could be sponsored for this stuff. That'd be fun. That'd be
great.
That'd be great. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay. So down to business. So
That's
this is divided into 4 parts.
But it got us laughing.
It got us laughing, which is the whole point. The one thing I love about our interview last time is that even though we're talking about serious, like we laughed through the whole thing.
Yeah, we did, and it was
like,
fun.
I mean, it's fun, and that's the point. So I know that these subjects are all intertwined, obviously, but what I've tried to do is sort of talk a little bit. First questions are sort of more about sort of autism questions. The second question, batch are more about sort of cancer related. Then I have what I call the dream on, let's dream more questions. And then
that's
sort of
how
some
change
more.
happens.
Exactly.
You know.
And then we have the more general questions.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And just a little cool thing. So I read this interview with Rita Sharon. She's a doctor, Columbia, and she's sort of the person who started narrative medicine. And she said that narrative medicine is in its storytelling, is in its core. It is an advocacy and activism, that by telling the story of people's experience of illness, of abilities, disabilities, however you want to talk about it, of the way that they experience their lives, is by its very definition activism and advocacy. And I thought, whoa, you're speaking my language, girl. So this is why it feels like such a good mix for me. So
well, it's about what, how you, the person, experiences, rather than I'm looking at you and I think you should do this and that. And
and I see your blood work and your scans, and which is important.
That's all important.
You have to learn to cut and read scans and do surgery and all that sort of stuff.
That's all. But it's, that's
part of it. Yeah.
It's part of it, but it's not the whole.
So this is the parallel chart.
Okay.
The parallel charting. So.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Okay. So autism.
Yes.
So the question I have is, so what has changed, if anything, about your understanding of yourself as a person with autism since the last time we spoke? Well, we spoke like yesterday, but I mean, since the last time we spoke officially.
Yeah.
So since last year, I guess, so what's changed about your understanding of yourself about autism?
Well, I think it's been good in a lot of ways that I've, it's brought out that dealing with autism is how I've developed the strength I have in my life. That's if I do choose to do something, I do it. And if I get support, great. If not, okay.
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh, well, I do it anyway.
Go. Yeah, exactly.
But I also see that it's made me sort of think I need to do everything by myself. Just because I learned to started to learn to deal with autism. I always had family support, but not institutional support.
Yeah. So, that's a difference about being a late diagnosis and being someone of your generation rather than someone of the younger generation, like we talked about, right? Yeah.
And in some ways it's easier for me because, now I think people get out of high school and, there might be, transitioning to adulthood program for some, small percent of those people, but most have good luck. So they go from having all kinds of support and, to whatever. And I developed and are, some aren't able to work. And, I think sometimes that's because they really can't, but sometimes it's because they just haven't, we all had teenage jobs and learned to cope with those and developed as workers, but if you took a neurotypical person and had no employment between 18 and 30, at 30, you're not likely to be a very hireable.
No, of course not. Of course not. Well, nobody is, right?
No, but it's partly because sometimes autistic people can't find work because they haven't had work.
Exactly. Work begets work, as we all know. Yeah.
And it's not, you don't learn to be, yes, Dale. You're not talking about you. Don't worry about it.
You're fine, Kitty. You're fine.
Yeah.
Of course. How many cats are we going to have in this interview? 5.
5. I think so.
Let's go for 5.
Yeah. Okay, Dale, who got 1 checked off.
1 checked.
But I think, but I feel lucky in a lot of ways that I developed those skills through school and through working at a young age. And that's enabled me to do those things. So
yeah. And you feel like you've kind of had in the last year, you've sort of, do you rest more comfortably in that knowledge, or are you struggling more with that understanding of yourself, or you feel better, worse, different about that understanding?
Well, I think it's just become even more like, this is how I get through things. This is, not everybody's experience, but it's my experience. So
yeah, that makes sense.
This is me.
This is me, as the song says. C'est moi, c'est moi. So that kind of answers the next question. So the question was sort of, are you more or less sort of comfortable in the identity? Or I'm not even sure if comfortable is the right word. Or
yeah, I'd say more comfortable. Just this is this is how that I deal with things. Yes, Dale. Yes, I'm still not talking about you. and I think it's still just, I guess, more comfortable in that just this is me. People who want to be on my team are welcome, and if you don't, okay.
Okay. Pass me by. Already on. Move on by. Yeah. For sure. Absolutely. So you picked up a little bit about the employment piece, which obviously has been a huge part of this past year since we last spoke, unfortunately for you. So what has this meant for you specifically, looking for work as a person with autism and as a person sort of with a cancer history? Those two pieces, like, what has that meant? What has the employment piece meant for you as a person with autism and as a person with a cancer history?
Well, I think in some ways that's, I've always sort of asked I did give my letter at the university.
Yay!
And
that
felt really good.
Disclosed.
Yeah. And that felt good. So I think, that was a step forward, and
huge, honey, just huge.
And I've always kind of wondered, well, if I was different, would I have gotten that job or this job? But then would it be the right job for me if they didn't want me as I am?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, first of all, we can't be different people. I think that's something about no matter who we are or how we are in the world or how our brains are wired. We can't be
someone else.
Different, really. And so we can learn skills, right?
Yeah.
And we can learn we can learn new skills, but we can do different things. But we can't be different people.
Yeah, so. I agree.
Yeah.
So, it's been, and then, I don't think I come across as physically unwell in interviews, but that's been more, I guess, somewhat of a stress. Like, well, if I get a job and have these appointments or whatever, is that going to be a concern for them?
Yeah, if you have to go, well, you do have to go, to your oncology appointments and stuff.
Yeah.
And various stuff. Yeah, I know. And I mean, you and I have talked about that everybody has something in their lives, right? They've got some kind of responsibility or some kind of, lots of people have different sort of physical struggles, emotional struggles, family struggles,
Part of being human.
Part of being human. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So in terms of looking for work as an autistic person, have there been specific sort of challenges or revelations or discoveries that you have been surprised about?
Yeah, I wouldn't say so much surprised. I mean, in some ways, I think it's been a good thing that, because I'm used to being, extremely stubborn and,
I have no idea. That good thing that doesn't run in the family.
Oh no, not at all.
No.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Not like our mother was stubborn or anything.
Oh hell no. I think she's queen of stubbornness. So
yeah. But that's, but I think that's also helped me just sort of stay that, and I get to be a better sailor and with every storm.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. Did you just make that up?
A while ago.
Or did you steal it?
No, I think I made it up anyway.
That's awesome, honey. That's awesome. I think, see, remember we had so many bumper stickers from last
Yeah,
time? Okay,
one.
bumper sticker number 1, a better
Yeah.
sailor in every storm. Love it, love it, love it. Love it, love it, love it.
But I think
yeah,
oh,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah. No, that's okay. No, it was also, I think and this is also maturity, but
Yeah.
it's helped me not get depressed. Like, okay, I've gone, like, applied to how many jobs at Rico now, and nobody's hired me, and what's wrong with me? What's wrong with Rico? But just,
well, there's nothing wrong with you, honey.
I know.
And there's not necessarily anything wrong with the company either.
No,
it's the meshing.
Haven't found a fit yet.
Yeah.
But I think it's helped me just, like, I expect things to be hard work. I expect things to take as long as they're going to take. So
yeah.
Rather than getting into sort of, or just, okay, I'm done. I tried already,
Yeah, I tried. Nobody wants me. I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and yeah.
And because I know, I mean, it's, there's high unemployment rate in Calgary. It's not just me, but I just need to keep going until I find something. And I will.
Yeah. Oh, I know you will, hon. I know you will. Yeah. Do you feel when you are like, can you talk a little bit more about how that felt when you disclosed for the first time at the University of Calgary job?
Yeah, well, it felt really good. I mean, I felt like the interview went as well as I could have imagined. And then, anything else you want to tell us or talk about? And so I just handed it around, and it felt great, actually. Like,
yeah. And did they ask you any questions, or how did they respond?
They just, oh, okay.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I see you also have ears.
Yes.
And a nose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and I think that's, partly, ideally in a university is more, traditionally been more accepting of difference than downtown.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Ideal, going, Oxford Dons, talking to people from under their desks and, weirdness.
Right?
But,
As you said, that department was probably Squirrel Central.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
You're speaking my language.
Yeah. Squirrel. So.
And speaking of Squirrel Central, so you and I together have done some interesting, albeit unpaid work this past year, both with Ovarian Cancer Canada and their patient guide, which will come out, which actually, as started as something for autistic folks, but then it was sort of transformed into something that everybody could use to have more effective conversations with their doctors, which is awesome.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Which is wonderful. And then we're working on a more sort of autistic specific panther guide, a patient guide. I didn't
Panther guide is for a cat.
How to be a good panther. Good God. I did not have enough coffee this morning. And then more recently, you and I have been invited to be involved with this working group for autistic people with cancer, which is international. We're not sure how it's going to work, but it's all unpaid. And so can you talk a little bit more about what these projects are, what they mean to you, how they felt, what that means?
Well, I think it's really good because a lot of the stuff you read about autism is for the caregivers or, for kids. And I think it's really good that doing some research and different things on, this continues into adulthood, and, the issues don't stop when you graduate from high school.
That's right. Yeah.
I've dealt with a couple of things since 1984 anyway. So.
Exactly. A few things, just a few.
Yeah, just one or two.
Just one or two.
Yeah. And I think it feels very positive. That's going in the right direction, that, people, just like neurotypical people don't stop dealing with things at 18,
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
That I think it's good that and it's felt really positive to be involved in that and involving actual autistic people rather than people studying,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's a big positive.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of the things that's interesting to me is that uh, for cancers, of course, there are childhood cancers as well, but most people get diagnosed with cancer later in their years. So you're looking at a lot of people who potentially, like yourself, had a late in life diagnosis, or perhaps just a self-diagnosis or a self-realization or something like that. So that's a different thing, as we've talked about, than somebody who was diagnosed at age 2 or 4, and then had supports all the way through their young life. And then, so when that generation gets cancer at 50 something or 60 or 70 or whatever, then that might be a different thing. So, but we'll have changed the world by then.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's the plan. That's the hope. So
we're doing it.
We're doing it. Be the change, right? I know. Yeah. So, do you have specific hopes about those projects?
Well, what I hope is that it normalizes, for example, a related example. One of the workout DVDs I have just has closed captioning. You don't have to sign up for it. You don't have, it's just there.
Yeah.
So it's normal, deaf people exercise too. So.
Of course. Yeah.
So just kind of normalizing it in doctors' education and.
Yeah.
And another big hope is talking to the patient. Like this one thing I read said, don't talk to the caregiver, even if the patient's 2. You communicate in the way that 2-year-old can understand.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that's in the expanded guide, and copies of it obviously, but particularly if somebody uses alternative communication, that even so the doctors have to be trained to wait for the answer. Somebody's typing out, and not just turn and say, "So, Mom, what do you think about going on there?" Or sister or whoever is
right. Just like you'd wait till someone's done talking before you talk.
Unless it's us and we talk over each other all the time. Right. But if you're a doctor-patient thing, you don't want to do that. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No, I think it's very positive.
So normalize the training of the healthcare team.
Well, and just normalize us, I did some thinking and writing about how to treat autistic people at work, and just, asking for written instructions isn't being fussy or being needy. It's just how you need to work, or asking for a noise level that you can work comfortably and isn't special treatment. It's just, every worker deserves comfortable space to work in.
Yeah, absolutely.
That kind of thing. So it's just more equalizing.
Yeah, it's equal access.
Yeah.
To, in this case, a work life, but in that case, a healthcare, an equal access to healthcare.
Right.
Yeah. It's the wheelchair ramp, right?
Yeah.
Example.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's not giving equal, that's giving equal access to people in wheelchairs, that they can access the buildings. It's not, you can climb up the stairs, but these people need a ramp. So
exactly.
It's not special treatment for them. It's equal treatment.
There you go. Bumper sticker number 2.
Yep. But I think go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I think people sometimes think, well, it's work. It's, so that's extra, special treatment that they're getting, but it's actually not,
Yeah, exactly.
Because something takes work or resources that.
Yeah. And the other thing, I think this isn't a question, but you and I have talked a lot about this, is that a lot of workplaces and a lot of, frankly, a lot of hospitals have these diversity and inclusion statements. So it's a lot of chit chat and not a lot of putting into place. So how does that feel for you?
Well, it gets frustrating.
Yeah.
It's just, cynical, but, like the old saying, talk is cheap.
Yeah.
But to me, it's when, you know, companies or organizations really, okay, what kind of resources are really willing to put into this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you know, and I think, I mean, one thing in the workplace is that, yes, hello, Dale.
Same cat, only get 1 point for Dale.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, go away.
go away. You've had sending other cats in.
Yeah. But you know, that like the top level really does mean it. They really, you know, genuinely do mean it. But then they, hello. You cutie. But then they, you know, they don't fund them, or they fund a great big show, and then there's nothing after, you know, there's no money for it after that. So
Yeah.
you know, what would be better is to,
I can hear her purring. That's so sweet.
yeah. You say sweetie paws. That's Paula. Yeah. Purr. Yeah. Sweetie.
It's coming
Anyway.
through my earphones. It's kind of cute.
Yeah.
So anyway, you were saying, so
Anyway.
what would be better?
What would be better is to, instead of, you know, a big show and, oh, we love everybody and, you know, all the kumbaya stuff, you know, is having stable funding for long enough for something to really, really work, and really, you know, less sort of media stuff and more, well, like we said, with the land acknowledgements, that's nice, but
yeah, exactly.
You know, how does that change the average person, you know, Indigenous person's life on a average Wednesday kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, I'd rather, I mean, that's good, you know, like way too little, way too late, but Dale, why does he call off?
Just lost your camera.
That's a cat. Like,
I completely lost. I think he shut off. I think Dale shut off the camera.
Oh dear. Okay.
Oh dear. That's all right.
Okay.
No worries.
Now he's eating, so.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
Indigenous land acknowledgement.
Okay. Yes.
Anyway, so, you know, what I think would be better is to, you know, even spend the same amount of money, but, you know, spread it out. And, you know, what are you doing? Or do that, and, you know, how many Indigenous people have you hired? You know, how many? You know, well, we love autistic people. We want to hire a lot. Well, I've been here for 5+ months, so
yeah.
You know, and not just me, but more like spending that money instead on, you know, training staff how to, or, you know, training interviewers how to notice the signs that, you know, that it's somebody's autistic rather than just being a stranger and social. And then when people are working, you know, train teams on how to deal with an autistic person, how to integrate and that kind of thing. So I think, and in hospitals, like, you know, having, like in library, you know, having quiet places to wait, especially for long periods of time,
which are inevitable, particularly in cancer centers or emergency rooms, or
you know, and it's not, I mean, it's not, you know, great luxury. It's just I have a small room to sit in, so I'm not overwhelmed for 5 hours kind of thing.
Yeah. A spa would be nice, but I'll take a small room. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I mean, I think they have those in the States. If you have a lot of money, you can go somewhere and be pampered, you know, but that's not what we're, you know, that's not
what we're looking at. Yeah.
No, just a space with, you know, like, you know, they're the tiny rooms at the Tom Baker that, and I would have even taken a, you know, small room with a couple of chairs.
Yeah, rather than that being our treatment room with like you and me and Andy shoved in there and the doctor, that was bonkers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hopefully it'll be better with the new cancer center. But
hopefully.
Yeah.
But
it's just, you know, it's just considering, I mean, that's true for everybody with cancer. It needs some comfort, but
Yeah.
But for an autistic person with, TV, which is a nice idea. People are bored, something to watch.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
5 conversations going around, you're full of stress, it's,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
debate, it's not.
And then the wait, the unknown. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard for sure. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
All right. And speaking of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's pivot there. So how have you been over the last year? How have you been feeling physically?
I think pretty good overall.
Yeah.
I've gotten in good condition again, and physically stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been doing my physio, and
Good.
yeah, gotten, I think, physically strong and, in good shape overall.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think, unless I'm taking my pills, I don't really think about it most time.
Yeah. Unless you're taking your Lynparza and stuff, you don't
Yeah.
think about it. Yeah. Yeah.
Just good.
So by staying in shape, by doing the physical activity, that helps you sort of manage the stress about it, or?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just controlling what I can, like.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's all we can do.
Yeah. And I've read things too that like eating well and staying in shape and stuff matters a lot after, preventing recurrence. So
yeah, well, it's all you can do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's as we've talked about, it's the things that are within our control and things that are beyond our control. So yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, that's good. Good. So throughout this past year, you've had your regular blood work.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's in the guide is we hopefully will develop kind of the tips and tricks thing, which we know will be different for everybody. Can you talk a little bit about what you do when you're sort of coming up to a blood work day, how you feel about it, what you do to sort of get through the day, and so on and so forth?
Well, I think there's always a little bit of worry, like it's always been fine, but will it be fine again? And
right, yeah,
are these things that are happening, do they mean that there's something wrong, or are they just unrelated?
Like the dizziness and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But it's become just very routine.
Right.
Go get, look at the results. Okay.
Yeah.
What I wish we had is, I think it'd be hard to do, but what could be helpful is like numbers. I'm glad we can look the results up online.
Yeah.
We have to have them, that's empowering, I think.
Okay.
But we have numbers from the regular population, and what would be maybe more helpful is having numbers from somebody on Lynparza.
Oh, like when they give you a so-called normal range?
Yeah, whatever that is.
The dreaded normal. So,
yeah.
The dreaded normal. Yeah. So like if they give you a normal range for your blood count or whatever, and yours is always, of course, on the little low end.
Yeah.
But I think like we've checked in with your oncologist a couple times about this, and they've said, if your neutrophils are below, 2, then you have to worry.
Right.
Right. So that they've sort of given you that guidance to read those. Read those results. Yeah.
And I've been doing it long enough that I have a normal range, too. So
exactly. That's right. That's right. Exactly. So if you go in that little range, and then if you dip down, then maybe something's up.
Something to concern. Yeah.
Yeah. Something to be concerned about there. Yeah.
No, I think it's a good thing overall that keeping track of it, and better to know if something's really out of whack. Yeah.
So you said you find it empowering to look up the results online. That's something that you like to do. Yeah.
Because other than waiting, okay, I wonder what it is, and waiting for the doctor to call, or, waiting for that whole system to have to get through to, or, would I have to wait till it was really off to hear anything? Or
right. Yeah. 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 Exactly. Yeah.
And it can be good news too, that
you never know.
Neutrophils are better this time.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know. Yeah, it's always a bit of a roll of the dice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just so you know, this is going to end in 3 minutes.
Okay.
And then it will just be Bossy. It'll let us know.
Okay.
So briefly, if we have time, and then we'll
Mhm.
continue again. So the phone appointments that you've had, you've spoken a bit about that. So those are like, they happen, they don't happen. How do you feel about those that you've had throughout the
Oh,
past
that's
year?
gotten better over the,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah,
all of us have learned something over the 3 years of COVID.
I know, right? Yay.
Yeah,
Yay
yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah. Some of them we're forgetting already, like wearing masks in hospitals is a good
Yes.
idea.
A note to our sponsors: wear your damn masks in the hospital. But anyways,
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Like we learned something, let's just throw it out right away
right.
and then keep making each other sick. That's good.
That's right. That's right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Cynicism break. Yeah.
no. Yeah, you cynicism break for sure. For sure.
Go ahead.
But so do you find like I think in some of the research I've done that some people with autism find it difficult to manage like a doctor's appointment on the phone. Is that something that's easy, hard for
Well,
you?
it's gotten
Better.
better. I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think the doctors doctors have had to learn how to do this too.
Yeah, they're learning as well. They have a learning
You know,
curve. Yeah.
it's not like they were doing it and then we just jumped in and they were
Right. Exactly.
No,
Yeah.
I think they're good. They were necessary for a while and they can be a good thing, especially if it's sort of, oh, I need a refill on this prescription and it wouldn't matter if they saw you or not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just
But I think it's just more thinking about them as normal appointments rather than just a phone call. The first one, I think it was the first one I had was, it was like 90 minutes early and he was in a tearing hurry. And like, that's why you're 90 minutes early because you're not.
because you're blowing through these. Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know, it might have been somebody who was just, here's a list, call these people. And,
Yeah, exactly.
fit it in between 17 other things, but it was, so I wasn't ready. I was, just, but okay, any problems? Okay, bye.
Yeah.
So I think they've gotten better over time and doctors have learned to, okay, this is how we're doing this now. So
yeah. Okay, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. This is going to end
okay.
in like 30 seconds. And then what I'll have to do, it takes a minute to save, and then I will send you another link.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
So we can have a break. Okay.
Sounds good.
So this will end. That's going to give me some code. All right. And
okay, got it.
It's the bossy British lady again.
Recording in process.
Recording in process. Please mind the gap. Do not step on the.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the woman who's like on the the train. Please mind the gap.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So we were talking about Lynparza when we left off.
Yeah.
So I don't think we had the opportunity to call like just when we we had this interview. You thought it was going to be ended, and then we had that kooky, it's on again, it's off again, and then it's been extended for another year. Yeah. And you've got an anniversary of the 3-year mark coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about how all that has been for you? The stopping, the starting, or the not stopping of the drug, but the weird sort of on again, off again, being on almost like a trial medication or something that's new, something that's really new.
Well, I was kind of upset when I thought it was ending because I seemed to be doing well on it. And just as a left-leaning person, I was like, well, is it just because, and then the one doctor, you could pay for it if you like. Like,
yeah, it's $100,000 a year.
Do you have an extra 100,000 a year? Probably
I do not. Yeah. I do not. And probably that doctor doesn't either.
No, I don't know anybody who could.
I don't know anybody either. Yeah.
So that was but I was kind of, I was lucky to have had it for 2 years, but I was sort of upset when I thought they were just going to stop it. And especially if it was just for financial reasons.
Yeah.
That nobody wanted to pay for it. And, but then it turned out that, so I was happy to be able to continue on it as long as and that the government's paying for it as they should. Is
Yeah.
like it's probably 1% of the world's population not even could afford that.
Not even. Not even. Yeah.
Half, maybe.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously expensive.
Exactly.
And, I seem to be doing fine on it, and my blood work is turning out fine. So
yeah,
grateful to be able to stay on it for another year, and
yeah,
hope I can, because I guess the 5 years is sort of the traditional. If it's going to come back, I've got 2 more years, so hopefully I can stay on it for that too.
yeah. So, so how do you feel about this? Like, so also at this appointment coming up, which I'm so glad I get to be with you in person. Yay!
Yeah, yay!
Some families go to Disneyland. We go to the cancer center. But yeah. Good times. But we're also going to Sephora. So,
that's right. So
that's right. Damn it. And we'll have some birthday cake too. So there you go.
You're gonna have some pandemic.
We'll have some pandemic cake or whatever. We're having birthday cake and pandemic cake. So you've got your CT scan coming up, you've got the Lynparza anniversary, you've got this appointment, in-person appointment. How do you process this? How do you feel about it? Do you not think about it too much, little? What do you think?
Well, I think I've been kind of looking at, like, if I have some bloating, is that because I take a lot of fiber, or is it because there's something wrong? I'm a bit worried.
Yeah.
And I feel fine, but the cancer in the first place didn't show up as anything related to,
Yeah, it showed up as abdominal stuff. Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's such an insidious little cancer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
So a bit worried, but again, I'd rather know if there's something we need to do.
Yeah. Knowledge is better than not knowledge. I think we've talked about that a lot. Yeah.
Sort of worried, but on the other hand, just want to know what to do next, and a bit concerned that if I'm starting a new job, I'm going to have to take time off right away. But that's how it is. I can't.
How it is. Yeah.
I can't do these appointments on Saturdays because they're not.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That's just when it's going to happen. So.
Yeah.
But no, I hope I get to stay on Lynparza as long as I can tolerate it, and it's helping.
Yeah.
Like why go off, stop doing something that's working?
Right. No, I do understand that. I mean, I do think I think part of the problem with being on a new drug is that they don't know how long it will work for, or when you receive the benefit of it. Right. So when it and I mean, I think I don't think it's that the doctors are keeping information from you. I think they just don't know at this point, because you're kind of on the cutting edge of this.
Yeah.
Right. So
which is good, but it also means that you don't know. 4 years or whatever.
Exactly. It'd be so nice if someone said, okay, this is the treatment you're going to get. You're going to stay on it for this long. You will or will not have this benefit. And then we're going to do this or not do that. Yeah. That's a lot easier for any patient to manage.
Yeah. But on the other hand, most cancer patients throughout history have had nothing like this. So
that's right. That's
very grateful too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when you feel worried or anxious about this, what do you do? What works for you?
I think,
or what doesn't work for you?
Well, I think staying on my schedule. I mean, that could seem rigid to the outside world, but I don't care.
Isn't that fun being in your 50s? It's like, I don't give a fuck what you think.
Yeah, exactly. Really doesn't matter.
Really doesn't matter to me anymore. So
you think what you think, and I think what I think, and whatever. No, but I think just and it's also how I think of I think what works for me is thinking of myself as somebody with cancer, not cancer not cancer for,
Yeah, it's that person first language with autism. It's like, yeah, exactly. Actually, that's an interesting question because, so like you have used, like you and I've talked about this before, like you like the words, I am an adult with autism, right?
Yeah.
But I think I told you this before. So I had that, right? I had that into a person with cancer, and I totally get why you're saying. But when I put that in the guide and talk with Autism Canada, we're like, no, you can't put that language in. I'm like, yeah, but that's what my sister wants to call herself. If she wants to call herself a unicorn with autism, I'm gonna freaking honor her freaking pronouns and her language and her everything right now.
I'm 56. Don't tell me how I can talk
Don't tell
about
me
myself.
how I can find myself. Like I get it. I do understand
Yeah.
how other people want to say I'm autistic or I'm a person on the spectrum.
Great.
I
Please
get
do.
it. And I
Happy
get
to
it.
tell you that. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
You
Like, but do you think
I'm an adult.
what's that?
I'm an adult. I've earned.
I've earned the right to define myself the way the words I want to define.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No. That's right. No, I think it's important. I think it's important because defining yourself as a cancer patient versus as somebody with cancer, is different. How is that different for you than defining yourself as autistic versus a person with autism? Or are those parallel identities or?
I think they're parallel. I mean,
no, I mean, I'm not saying they're the same
no, I know,
as illness, but in terms of using language is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, no, I think it's the same idea that, I don't think of Donna as a diabetic first. Think of her as a
interesting. Yeah.
As a vibrant person with diabetes who happens to have to deal with diabetes.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think it's sort of a, anybody, like if you break a leg, you're going to need, that might be how you define yourself until it gets, until you get to your physio and get strong and able to function normally again,
Yeah.
But for a long-term condition, I think it's important to say, that for me anyway, not everybody else can call themselves whatever they like.
You can call yourself unicorns.
Yep.
Yes, you can.
Whatever floats your boat. But
that's right.
But for me anyway, it's more about, I'm living my life and I'm dealing with these things. But that's
right. Yeah.
Part of.
Yeah.
But I think when I say, and obviously when I was in the hospital, that was the main thing going on in my life. But but even then, like there was somebody with fairly, serious cancer who was there a long time and, just found the hospital kind of boring and sterile. And so had to fight everybody practically, but to decorate her room nicely and, bring in some nice clothes to wear and like, just because I'm going to be here for a long time, I still want to look at my nice things and be comfortable.
I'm still a whole person. Yeah.
Yeah. And wear my nice clothes and get, but oh no, we have to have it sterile and cold and,
Yeah. And a patient
that's depressing long term.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, exactly.
So just the idea of, I take my medications, I take care of myself, but I take care of myself to fuel my whole life, it's not just, and, going back in history, I think, people with medical conditions were treated as invalids for long term, and that kind of got into a negative cycle. That if you're some, like nursing homes, now we think of them as only for older people, but originally they were for, people who were unwell at any age. And then, but if you're living, if you're 23 and you're living the life of an 83-year-old, you're not going to be as well,
No, you're not.
You're going to have less activity, less interaction, less. You see what I mean? Like
I do what you mean. Yeah.
So
sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
If you think of yourself as just somebody dealing with these issues, then you deal with them to support the rest of your life.
Yeah. But do you feel that, I mean, the only difference is, I totally see what you're saying, is that, but as we know, autism is like cancer is something that is acquired, that can come in your life and then may or may not go, right?
Yeah.
You may always have to be on the look of it. Whereas autism, we know that it's a brain wiring, right?
Yeah.
It's just who you were born as.
Yeah.
And that's who you are. So it's not something that, so that's what I mean. It's a bit different.
Yeah, no, it is different. But it's like sort of the maybe old fashioned, but it's not so old fashioned because people with autism still have extremely high rates of unemployment. So sort of the thinking, oh, well, that would be too stressful for you. You know, you should just, but then, you know, being unemployed causes far more stress than a appropriate job.
Yeah,
you know,
than a supported job or a supported, otherwise supported,
And then, you know, financial, and then autistic people end up in more abusive relationships because they don't have money to support themselves, which isn't,
that's right.
you know, so again, another, oh, but that work would be too stressful, you know, but not having work is more stressful.
Not having be able to financially support yourself.
Is.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. So just so briefly more about Tom Baker, do you have a good sense of, or do you feel confident in your follow-up care plan? Do you feel like you've got a good plan, or do you wish it was different?
Well, I think it's good. I think it's, I mean, ideally, I'd like it to be more like, there's one thing I read that, you know, somebody, especially men, have heart attacks. They get this whole, oh, well, here's your diet, you know, nutritionist, and here's, you know,
your rehab plan, here's your everything. Yeah.
You know, and there's sort of some of that, but, and a lot of that was cut out because of COVID, of course, but.
Right. Yeah.
But I wish there was sort of a more structured, like I get, you know, through the different groups, there are some things like that, you know, cancer groups, but, and I think some of that'll come just having a bigger cancer center and everything in one place rather than, well, here's a brochure, you can call these people, but you know, like one I emailed and never heard back, and you know.
Yeah, they're probably run by a volunteer, and that person's got COVID and homeschooling their kids, right? So,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So good luck. In their
Yeah.
free time, they're also running this volunteer group. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that leads us beautifully into my next question,
Okay.
which is, this is the Dream On section. We've talked a lot about that. This is how this whole business with the advocacy guidance stuff started. So Tom Baker has built this giant new cancer center. I hear they don't have doctors to staff it, which is not the smartest plan. Well, small detail. Small detail. You forgot about that part.
Beautiful new building, though. Yeah.
Beautiful new building. Yay. So that if you were to support your needs, and then so maybe start with that, and then perhaps other autistic people, how would you design that cancer center?
Well, I'd have,
if you were a consultant.
Yeah, if I ran the zoo.
If I ran the zoo, which we clearly don't. So.
But maybe we do.
Maybe we can. We own our own personal zoos, and that's about it.
Right. Cat zoos.
Cat zoos.
Yes. Anyway, so yeah. So what would I do? I'd have comfortable waiting spaces. Being given that that's a lot of your experience there. You know, consultation rooms that are big enough to comfortably house, you know, comfortably seat and whoever's there without people being
smushed against the wall.
Crammed in. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think also just if there's offering you other things, being able to go directly, like
the psychosocial supports and stuff. Yeah.
Like they did, I guess, originally run the Look Good, Feel Better out of Tom Baker, but so that would have been there if during normal times, but just having things close by and even right there.
In one physical location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I think would it be nice to have like comfortable places to stay for out of town people, because we're lucky being, just less than half an hour away from,
Right.
distance, but,
Yeah.
but rather than having to stay somewhere expensive, or, when cancer is already expensive.
Yeah, you lose your job, you lose all this stuff, or you have a stay from your job, or exactly, extra charges.
The best case is that you'll be on reduced income.
That's the best case. Yeah,
If
exactly.
any income at all,
Exactly. Yeah.
And then more expenses if you're having to drive in every time. So
absolutely. Yeah.
But, that would be nice. But just having things in one, I think everything in one place, like instead of, oh well, here's a brochure, and if you want to call this person and set up an appointment, just having, maybe people come by and talk to having them come to you rather than
you have to chase them down. Yeah,
chase them down, make an appointment, wait 3 weeks, which you realize they're not just there to support you, but
I'm eating licorice.
That's okay.
Speaking of our healthy lifestyle, I've had a healthy breakfast. Now I'm eating red licorice because
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Anyway, sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, so about the look and feel better, I know that we talked about this last time, that if you were designing that for like autistic people, like that specific piece of it, what would you have needed as somebody with some sensory issues? Not as many or some different ones than other folks with autism. What would you want if you were designing that?
Well, I think when I did the online one, and that was was good in a way because I had my own space. But I think just fairly not too many people, like maybe 5 or 6 people, and then one presenter or whatever. So not too crowded and noisy. A chance to just watch. Okay, let's say you have put somebody's makeup on or whatever. But I think just relative quiet, enough space around so we don't feel crowded, which you wouldn't want during COVID anyway, or anytime. Really.
Right, yeah. But if we're imagining the non-COVID cancer building here, so yeah.
No, I think just a comfortable room and enough space to feel like you weren't really closed in.
Yeah. So those are really important to you, to have physical space and to have a quiet space.
Yeah. Briefs like not
monk-like silence, but
a lot of noise, not a lot of noise either.
Yeah. Not doing it at the the food court of a shopping mall.
Right. Yeah.
Equivalent of that. Yeah. For sure. So I asked you this question before, but I wonder if you have a different answers, if you do. So what do members of your oncology team not know about you that you wish you did? Wish they did, I'm sorry. And let's include your pharmacists, your blood draw people, your nurses, everyone you've interacted with, the whole team. Like if you could say, there's things you don't know about me, but I wish you did, and you need to know these things to treat me better.
Well, I think that I take time to process, take longer to process, and like to me, it seems sometimes people are moving very fast. They probably don't think they are, but so I think just giving me enough time to process what they're saying.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can, especially if my stress levels are up, it can seem like, okay.
Yeah, and you're like, okay.
All right, whatever you said.
Whatever you said. I think somebody recorded that for me, I hope. Yeah.
So just slowing down and just, I realize they're busy. I realize that they have to stay on a tight schedule and so on, but and that's more just how things are scheduled, but keeping it, just giving me the few extra seconds to digest it and respond.
Yeah. In order for that to happen, they need to know that you need that, though, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe some way of telling them her.
Yeah. How do you think that could work for you?
Well, I think, asking, if it seemed like okay, then asking, could you repeat that, please? And but also also I think awareness on their parts, that because they've said this 4,000 times and learned it, have it, right first thing in their memory, that this might be my first time for hearing it. And
right, particularly if it's big news of some kind.
Yeah,
or presentation of a treatment plan or options, or
yeah. And I think that some just some doctors were great with that, had fabulous communication skills, and some are more just, here's the information, any questions, okay, on.
Yeah.
So it's so I think that goes back to sort of how doctors are trained, and even what you and Bill did, that could be a good idea, that having autistic people do those sort of mock situations.
What? Oh, you mean the questions and answers kind of stuff that we do?
Yeah. Well, when you were mock patients. And
oh, the standardized patients. Oh,
yeah.
Also, we need autistic standardized patients.
I think so.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't know if they do, actually. I'm not sure if they do right now. I'm out of touch with that. But yeah, that would be cool, right? They might, actually. Yeah, they might. But they also, so they need to change the training for the healthcare team.
Yeah.
But then I think maybe the healthcare team needs to ask the right questions.
Yeah.
Because like let's just say, like, if you go in there, let's sort of cast your mind back to those fun first days with Tom Baker. If you go in there, like, you're not going to go in with this big letter, right? Hi, I'm Lindsey, I'm autistic and I've got cancer. Oh no.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it, it's hard. Not many people walk around disclosing unless they have there's, right? I mean, I think that's part of it. So if we train the nurses and doctors to sort of pick up on clues, but then somebody might be insulted.
Yeah.
Right? If you say, oh, you're being a little weird. Are you autistic?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not. Damn it.
I'm just weird, damn it. Yeah,
I'm just weird. I'm just weird and a little bit stupid. Not autistic at all. So I think that somehow, like, there's need to be some kind of questionnaire or the intake form or something in which the patient feels comfortable in saying these things.
Yeah.
Disclosing. Yeah.
Rather than, are you disabled or not?
Right, the check yes or no. Oh my God, that is my life's work to get rid of the check yes or no disability box.
Yeah.
That was on your BRCA testing. Oh, good, sweet love to God. Anyways, we're working on that. We're working on it.
Yeah. No, that's a ridiculous question.
No, it's a ridiculous question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Athlete with a broken leg is disabled at that moment.
I know. Like, what do they mean?
Yeah, anyway.
So that kind of leads to the next question. So how do you think you could have more effective conversations with your doctors, other than the more time issue, which is clearly really important?
Yeah.
Like, what do you need other than other than our self-advocacy guide, a word from the sponsors, filled out with complete form, which is now a sizable workbook. So what do you need other than that to be put in the hands of everybody? But what do you need in the interim to have better conversations? Yeah.
I think it's a lot of it is, I know how to be assertive, but I think it's being assertive when you're super stressed, super,
and sick. Some people are super freaking sick when they get there. Yeah.
So, I think it's just human.
Yeah.
It's easier to be, do all your best skills and be your best self when you're feeling great. And
absolutely. Yeah.
But it's also just saying, okay, be more assertive. But how do you do that when you're scared, you're sick,
Mm-hmm.
You know, so just, and feeling vulnerable. I think that's a lot of it.
Of course. Yeah. And
You know,
everybody feels vulnerable when they're
yeah,
sick, and then you feel more vulnerable if you've got, yeah.
but so just kind of more of a mindset, like, you know, the doctors are there to help you, but they're, you know, you're in charge still. They're not in
Mm-hmm.
charge. They're, like one doctor said, you know, no, we're all on your team, but you're the boss, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I
And
mean,
lots
it's,
of people don't accept various, you know, things will be offered to them and they'll say no, or they'll
yeah,
want more or want less or different. And yeah.
but just because you're sort of, you're down at that point, you're still, you know.
Yeah.
So it's my, and you know, it sounds sort of whatever, but I think that mindset is really important,
Mm-hmm.
because if you, you know, if you feel like you're vulnerable, oh, I just have to take whatever anybody's going to give to me, and you know, I shouldn't ask
Yeah.
for anything else because grandma's doctors are busy. Well, yeah, they're
Yeah,
busy.
exactly.
Aren't
And
you?
that's how we were raised. Like that's the thing
Yeah.
about being, I think, people of our generation as well. And
Hmm.
I think about being someone with autism of your generation,
Yeah.
that maybe when that kid who's 5,
Hmm.
who's, you know, raised to expect supports
Yeah.
and ask for supports,
Yeah.
if that person, God forbid, gets cancer
Hmm.
in their 50s,
Hmm.
they might feel a little bit different.
Yeah. Like, well, of
I
course
don't
there's
know.
supports for me, and
Of course there are. Here I am. I'm autistic. Gimme, gimme, gimme. I'm ready for it. I expect
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah, I expect
Hmm.
what everybody else, you know, equal to what everybody else is getting, which of course
Yeah.
they should have,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
but our generation is more like, oh well, you know, shouldn't ask for anything and
Hmm.
gratefully accept whatever there is, and
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, but it's not, you know, and I think it should just be there for everybody. Like, you know, you're probably one of the scariest times in your life, and you're just there waiting, like you would be waiting in a bakery or for a bus, or you
Yeah.
know, I mean, they do, and you know, part of that was being COVID, because they did try to do sort of nice comforting things before.
Yeah. The tea and cookies ladies and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds, you know, but it, you know, it did make a difference.
It did. I mean, I was there with you. It made a huge
Yeah,
difference. Yeah. It's that human connection. Yeah.
yeah, and just you feel like a guest. You know, you're still waiting in a hospital, but you felt more like a guest somewhere. You know,
Yeah. Absolutely.
rather than just,
Absolutely.
okay, here you are. You get to wait for 3 hours. And,
Yeah. And then here's your information. See ya.
yeah,
So,
you know,
yeah.
or even here's not your information because we ran out of time.
Exactly. Here's not your information. Here's a website for you, maybe.
Yeah.
So look it up online. Look it up online. Um, so I think so. Is there anything else about dreaming up for the new Tom Baker building? If you and I were
Hmm.
consultants, what would you ask for?
Well, I think just ideally more staff, more time with staff.
Mm,
So, you know, planning, you know, planning for the realism of how long an appointment's going to take. So
mm-hmm.
if an appointment is actually going to take an hour, plan an hour, not a plan 45 minutes, and then by 2 o'clock you're 3 hours behind. You know?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
which sounds whiny, but
It's not whiny at all.
you know,
No.
but you know, if you know if you're waiting for somebody else, being 3 hours late wouldn't be acceptable.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if you're
Exactly.
waiting for your accountant, you expect your accountant to be, you know, a few minutes late, okay, but not 3 hours late.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah. We're used to kind of begging for scraps, I think. So yeah.
plan enough time and hire enough, you know, train enough doctors and have enough, you know, that's long term, but
Yeah.
don't, and, you know, political too, that Alberta politics, but, you know, but have enough doctors and have enough nurses, and
Mm-hmm.
don't run them ragged either, which they did
Yeah,
during the pandemic.
yeah, exactly. They're not showing up as their best selves either, if
You
in
know,
that case. Yeah, 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 for sure. If there was, we've talked a little bit about, like we know a little bit about patient navigators. If there was an autism specific patient navigators for cancer patients
Wonderful.
program. Yeah. So what would that be helpful for you if there was somebody, if you said, and if you walked into that cancer center, we could rewind that time. Not that I want to go through that again, but hell no.
Hell no, I did it. I survived.
Hard pass.
We survived.
Exactly. Hard pass on that. However, in our imagination, we can think our way back. And said, so if someone said, so if I said to that nurse when we first walked in, as I did, Lindsey might need a little help. She's on the spectrum. I didn't even know what I was asking.
Yeah, just
I was like, I would tell somebody, please do something. Help me. Help me help her. And I mean, in my fantasy world, someone would have handed me the workbook, which we are now going to develop, filled with resources. And somebody would have said, here's your patient navigator.
Yeah.
Here's her number or his number. And they're going to help you navigate the entire cancer experience as a person with autism.
Wow.
Wow.
Bring it on.
Bring it on.
Yeah, no, really. I want that to be there for somebody else.
I want that to be there for somebody else too. So what would that patient navigator need to know, do you think?
Well, I think that, even during the best of times, it takes me a lot, and I've accepted it, I've gotten used to it, but it takes me a lot to deal with a lot of noise coming at me. Like even if I'm feeling great and in the mall, it's I have to put my walls up and just, it takes a lot of energy to block out the noise so I can just do my things and talk to people. And, it feels like being blasted,
Yeah. So if you're using your energy spoons or whatever to do that, you don't have the time, you don't have the focus to concentrate on what's happening.
Right. So that, having a quiet space would be, more equalizing for me so I could, handle it with somewhat less stress. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. What would that navigator as a person need to do for you? Like we've talked about the physical space. So what would that person need to do for you?
Well, I think be able to even, I was lucky enough to have family around, but, just be able to, okay, what else was stressful? What wasn't stressful there, but, well, like I found the constantly changing appointments at the beginning very stressful.
Oh, when they kept changing your times and everything? Well, that even happened recently, and frankly, that was stressful for you, hon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'd change flights, and that was a bit bonkers, so.
Yeah, and then so that would be another sort of general thing is for them to wait until they know when appointments are going to happen before, like sending it out months in advance and then, oops, well, last few weeks, we need to do it at a different time now. So.
Yeah, we don't have any oncologists, sorry, at the cancer center.
Yeah.
We're running it as a vet.
Yeah, that's right.
Day. Sorry, kittens allowed, but no actual cancer patients.
Yeah. But just more explaining, I think, how things work and what, because I realized, I had a good experience, but a lot of that was, I had my surgery, weeks before the hospital closed down.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have had any family in there, but then the cancer, the navigator probably wouldn't have been allowed in either. So, but
no, I mean, they would have been as blindsided by COVID as every healthcare professional was as well.
Yeah.
But at least they would have known the ins and outs of the hospital better than, a family member would have.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I think just being able to, and just being able to talk, someone to talk to, or, okay, why have we been waiting for 3 hours for this appointment? And
yeah. And maybe just understand the language of when I say, I have sensory needs. Like when you say, I've got my walls up because I can't like that, that's like, oh, I understand what you mean by that language.
Right.
You know, or maybe if somebody's really has a lot of tactile sensory needs or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. That isn't just being fussy or demanding, whatever. It's just,
I'm not being a princess.
no, really though.
No, for sure. For sure.
I really, okay, if I'm going to have to wait another 2 hours, could I please go in a quiet room by, or just with one or two other people rather than.
Yeah. And I think, so this is going to carry us out in 2 minutes, just give you a heads up. And then we'll do one more if you have time, just it won't be that much longer.
Fine.
So I think the other thing too is somebody, I guess in my imagine, is somebody who can say, so if the patient says once to this patient navigator, I'm autistic, this is the way I communicate, these are my particulars, this is the way in which I'm autistic. Because we know, you meet one, right? So, so that person says to the navigator, okay, this is the way in which I don't make eye contact when people don't, right? Or I need headphones, or I really, for me, the most important thing is quiet or space, or however autism looks to that person.
Right. Yeah.
Then that person communicate with the navigator once, and then that navigator can communicate to all the other healthcare team people, so that the patient isn't going every single time, by the way, I've got sensory needs, by the way, I've got blah, 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 blah. Every freaking time they have to say, this is why I'm wearing earphones. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's good. And then
like a hub is sort of what I think of. So
yeah, and the navigator can tell the next doctor or nurse or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, I think this is just general, I don't think this is autism related really, but just, it feels like endless waiting, and then the doctor comes in, flies through.
Yeah.
So, if we have 43 seconds, let's see how we can make the most of that and not fly by without.
Or before the doctor enters the rooms, they know they can't go, like they know that
that's right. No,
this patient needs, no blurring here. So yeah.
Just absolutely.
There's the bossy lady again.
Yeah.
Yay! We're getting good at this. Hopefully I've saved everything.
Yeah. So. Well,
it doesn't give me like this. It's like you get a 1 minute warning that just dies. It does cut off mid-sentence. I'm sorry about that. So
that's okay.
I should have done my hair today. Oh well, who cares? That's okay. We're not recording the video part of this. Well, we are, but anyways. So okay. So we were talking. Is there anything else you wanted to add about the recording at the anything else you wanted to add about the navigator program, about sort of doing about that?
Well, I think what would be helpful, I think for me, but especially, not everybody's as blessed as I am with family and, an aunt who can kind of get me in and, I've made it. But just somebody who knows the hospital system. Kind of like Donna kind of played that role for me.
Right. Yeah.
I was, of course, scared going in, but it was a lot easier to have, ideally, I wish that could be there for everybody, but just sort of more patient focused rather than, it's not convenient for us to have all these people in the room, so we won't have them, but.
Right. Yeah.
So just somebody who, because if I had been there, by myself, without anybody who knew what the hospital was like, I would have been, if my stress level was already like this, it would have been through the roof,
Oh, for sure.
But
exactly.
that could be helped somewhat. Ideally, I'd like a navigator for every old person there. Really dream big, but
exactly.
But more, I think it's just more patient focused rather than hospital focused. Like I remember Grandma saying, hospital would run fine as long as all these pesky sick people stayed away.
That's right. Well, you have to actually deal with patients. That'd be fine. Tickety boo.
That's perfect, but but seeing it more from the patient's point of view.
Yeah.
You know, from a doctor's point of view, well, I'm running a bit behind. Oh, well, you know, moving as fast as I can here, but you know, the patient. So somebody kind of an intermediary to explain. You know, I mean, ideally, they're not running 3 hours behind anyway, but somebody to explain why you're here, why you're waiting here, why it's taking so long. You know, they're this far and I mean, they've done that somewhat electronically through, like you can look up and see how long the wait times are in different emergency rooms. So that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you know it's going to take 3 hours, then you can say, okay, well, I'll get up my book and
just relax into it a little bit. Yeah.
go have a cup of tea and come back in a couple hours.
Exactly.
You know, something like that, rather than, because I mean, it's going, you know, it's going to be an extremely stressful situation no matter what, but I think they can take down some of the stress by having, I mean, like they do, you know, it sounds meant to be insulting, but like they do for little kids, like, you know, you're coming to the house, the doctor's going to help you, and you know, it's not meant to be, you know, sort of infant, you know, but you know, if you're 30 and sick, you need information too. It's not, doesn't end
exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
It's just, you know, if you understand, you know, doctor's not ignoring you, they're dealing with a emergency or something, then you can have, you know, but if it just feels like you're sort of endless waiting without knowing what's going on, that's going to be, those are people who don't need one iota more stress than they have already. So just more, you know, I think somebody to sort of explain what's going on. You know, go back and forth between the doctors and just explain to the doctors too, this person might take a bit, you know, a few seconds longer to absorb what you're saying. Please be patient.
Take your time. Yeah. So it sounds like you're envisioning someone who's actually like physically with you through the appointments.
Oh, that would be ideal.
Yeah, right. Like like with you while you're saying, because that would be like almost like an actual guide with you in the rather than someone who's just kind of a coordinator.
Yeah.
Like a check-in point or something.
Well, and especially, I mean, I always had family with me, which is very, you know, very grateful, but not everybody does.
Right. Or their family's kind of useless. Or they're there for the emotional support, but they don't know. Like, I mean, I think about that a lot too, is that they might know the person very well, like the patient, but they don't know the patient in the situation of cancer. Right.
Or they might not know. Yeah, I was lucky because I had somebody who, you know, Donna knew me and also knew how the hospital operated.
Right, exactly.
And had the ends and, you know, knew people and stuff, but but the average patient is going to have that.
And not going to have that.
Even if they have a very supportive family, they will, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
They're all sort of waiting, they're experiencing the same stress.
Yeah, exactly. And because it's new, you know, like it's new for everybody, right? You don't get that, I mean, I think about that sometimes, like I could have done differently. I could have done better. I could have done, you know.
But you did what you could.
You did what you could at the time, right? I mean, you do what you can at the time, and then you know better, you do better, right? So
yeah, that's right.
My Angela says so.
No, it's great, but I think, I would want everybody to have that because it was just about as much stress as I could handle with all the supports I had. So.
Yeah, I think that's the bottom line. Exactly.
And just, and again, more holistic that, it's a physical problem. It needs, but it's also an emotional issue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ignoring that is going to, I think, make the physical problem worse.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just going to happen to, I remember hearing, they have these lunch and learns throughout University of Toronto, and there's this very famous guy, Jay Baruch. He's got a big in narrative medicine. He's an emergency room doctor in some big center in the US. And he wrote this really cool piece about being an emergency room doctor. And there was this man who was homeless who came in, and he had basically like a bad flu or a cold or something.
Yeah.
And he was writing basically as he would to anybody, saying, get lots of bed rest, lots of fluids,
Yeah.
you know, and then he realized the sort of inanity of saying getting bed rest and fluids and chicken soup, you know,
When somebody doesn't have a
when somebody doesn't have a home to sleep in.
Yeah.
And that he, you know, what does he do with that? So it's treating the whole person. It's like, yeah, that person actually does need bed rest and fluids, but you and I can go home and do that, but that person couldn't.
And you have a safe, comfortable bed to stay on.
Exactly. So I think that's, to me, that's sort of that's the whole person piece there.
Right. And that, you know, if somebody is, you know, having you know, okay, it's patient's responsibility to handle their stress, but if somebody has sort of, you know, great stress, you know, just seeing that you have that, rather than just saying, oh, well, calm down, it's not that big a deal. You know, nobody says that, but
yeah, or deal with it off stage.
Yeah,
as if you could deal with it off stage. Yeah, as if they're not linked. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think so too. So just sort of to wrap up a little bit, so has your understanding of ovarian cancer changed in the last year, do you think? Or since, I mean, we talked a bit about this last time, but have you had an opportunity, or have you wanted to reflect on it all in the last year?
Well, I think it's just sort of seeing how it's, I don't know, sort of hard to.
It's fine. Sometimes there's questions without answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's just seeing it sort of presented itself as all these other bizarre symptoms, and you know.
Oh, like originally it did.
Yeah, originally.
Before you, yeah.
You know, somebody in, you know, relatively good condition, running out of breath, walking across a parking lot, or.
Yeah, exactly.
You know. So I think it's just, and I think overall it's just figuring out how to diagnose it sooner, and and that it's a whole, you know, I think it needs to extend back to, you know, even family doctors being able to like, okay, you know, eventually we got it once my breathing was impacted, and you know, after how many puffers and stuff, but
which did nothing because it wasn't in your actual lungs, was in your lung space,
right
from the lungs. Yeah,
but if we could have figured that out, you know, I mean, that's sort of, but even training family doctors to see things could be it, you know, not that you want to make people paranoid, but just.
Yeah, it's tough, eh? But actually, Allison just sent me a tool that because a lot of people who experience ovarian cancer have this exact same question. Yeah. Like, why couldn't it have been caught early? Because as we know about ovarian cancer, it tends to be presented late, in stage 3 or 4, as yours was. And that's true for almost every patient. Very rarely caught early, like a breast cancer or a prostate cancer or something. But that there's this new sort of family doctor conversation tool that they've created through Ovarian Cancer Canada, that if you have concerns about it, or if you have a family history of it or something, you can say, you know, hey, I want to talk to you about this kind of stuff.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So because there was a big demand for that also.
Well, there should be. I mean, it can be caught earlier. Why?
Well, it just eliminates suffering. You get better outcomes. All the things, right? That
yeah.
So, yeah.
Everybody figured it out.
Let's do that. Let's do that part. So we talked a little bit about that, but just sort of and what you do to take care of yourself. So just sort of what, you know, we've talked about sort of triggers. What brings you joy? What are your glimmers? What are the things that sort of lift you up, that fill your cup? And what are the things that are your triggers that bring you down?
Oh, glimmers. I like that.
Glimmers. I know. I stole it. I didn't make it up. I wish I made it up. Yeah. So glimmers anyway. It's just something that brings you joy, what makes you as someone with autism, with cancer, all those sorts of things?
Well, I think when I'm doing something and get the results I'm working for, I mean, and that's, that's big life. And just things I do feel, improve my nutrition, I can work out, I can, put in the effort to the job hunt that I, I can do those things. I can, time with the cats, time with family, which cats are family too, but,
Exactly. Let's just make that clear, everybody.
yeah, more and less furry family.
That's right.
Just doing, I think having a balanced life, sticking with my sticking with what I'm doing. And
have you changed because you've talked a lot about the routine sort of brings you comfort and things. Have you changed your routine to adapt at all? Have there been things that you've changed?
Well, I think not really. I mean, I think I've gotten, if anything, more active, and I think being physically active makes me feel good, so I keep doing it.
Yeah, you get that positive reinforcement. You feel physically better.
Yeah. Your Sunday drives are just being silly sometimes, and fun moments with the cats, and just making it sort of as just seeing myself again as somebody with dealing with cancer, not as a cancer patient, and living as normal a life as I can, or my normal anyway.
Yeah, your normal.
Yeah.
So it's an identity issue in part. Then. Yeah.
When I go, see, and if I go to interviews, I want to see Lindsey, the employee, and I might have to go to some appointments, but it's not, I'm a sick person, please hire me because you feel sorry for me.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want the pity hire. So.
No.
Yeah. And you and I've talked about that too before, that it applies to the autism as well, right? And that you don't want that.
No, I want it because
you're going to be good at the job.
Right. I'm excellent at what I do, and
do
yourself a favor and hire me.
Yeah, exactly. And so what about the things that sort of make your time worse? What are the triggers? What are the things that kind of
I think
that just make it like, I just can't deal with today. So or this moment of today.
Well, I think sort of worrying about symptoms and not knowing is the worst. Like if I get a blood work number that seems funky, and then waiting, is that really bad, or is that just my normal, or what does that mean? Or a physical symptom. Kind of worrying and not knowing is what makes it worse.
Yeah. And so what do you do when you feel those concerns? What do you do?
Well, I think, just like if it's a blood work number, I can look at my past numbers and see, is that in my normal range?
Right. Yeah.
The numbers on this website are for the average population who aren't on Lynparza. So
that's right. Yeah.
That kind of thing. The dizziness, okay, could be completely unrelated, or what's going on, that kind of thing.
Yeah. But for you, it works better to know rather than not know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's bad, I'd rather know and be able to do something about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel that way personally too, but I think not everybody feels that way. But I think that's what makes you feel more. What brings you hope in these rough times, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think just any, whether it's hearing about a job or waiting for a medical result, it's just tell me and I'll deal with it, sort of.
Yeah, exactly. Then we'll do what's next.
Yeah,
for sure. I get it. Yeah.
But overall, I feel good. I feel I've got a happy life and love in my life.
Yay.
Yay. No, really.
Yay. Yeah.
No, really, though. I mean, I think it's gotten to an age where this is who I am. This is what I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
You're welcome to join me if you'd like, or not.
Or not. Pass me by. So, yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else that I have not asked you, particularly about hopes and worries, or anything else in this conversation that we haven't covered that you want to talk about?
Well, I think just big thing is just how to do conversation, both for the autistic person and the healthcare people. Just autistic people. Oh, okay, I have to learn how to ask for what I need, but then there also has to be the doctors or nurses whoever also have to have time and mental energy to do that.
And training. Yeah.
Yeah, and training. It can't just be ask for what you need, but in the 19 seconds you have with your doctor.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. 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 So we got to change the world. Let's just end with that.
Yeah. Let's end with that.
Let's end with that. We're working on it.
We're making progress.
We're making progress. So that is the end of my questions.
Okay.
Yay, us.
Yay. Well, that was good. That was good. Yay.
Well, thank you again for doing that. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And
I'm glad we're doing it together.
Yeah. Well, the whole point of this little project is called Sisterly Solidarity Storytelling.
Yeah.
So it's about telling a story, and sort of multifocal story, and that has as its aim and advocacy. By telling one person's story, we hope to change
the world.
It makes change the world. There you go.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, thanks, hon, for doing this.
Yeah. Well, I love you. What are you guys gonna do for the rest of the day?
I'll do our normal Sunday doodle, as we call it, and we go to Safeway and Women in Need. And
sounds good.
Sunny out again, so that's good.
Yeah, you've got I gotta fix the lighting in this room. I always look sort of blurry and yellow. It doesn't look very good. I've got another lamp in there, but I gotta work on that for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. All right. Well, I'll let you go and give you all my love, and we will talk tomorrow after your appointment.
Yeah.
Now, remind me again of the time.
10:50.
10:50 your time. Okay. That's your appointment, and then your interviews first.
9:30. So
9:30. Okay. Well, good luck on your interview.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I hope so.
I know. And the appointment. So I will be on a Zoom call between 11 and 12 my time. So if I don't answer the phone, if you call me, like if I don't answer the phone, don't panic. Sure. That's why. I don't know how long it's going to be.
That's fine. We should be done.
Yeah, we should probably be done around the same time. So, but feel free to call me. But if I don't answer, that's what's going on.
Okay.
I've got the Zoom call with Autism Canada. We'll see what they want to do with the guy.
Well, that's good. Yeah, no, we're good.
So
no, we're making progress. So
yeah. So
I mean, Martin Luther King didn't just arrive and make that speech. There was a long road up to that. So
that's right. Yeah. So anyway, so that happens at between 11 and 12 my time tomorrow. So we probably finish around the same time.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Well, love you lots, and we'll talk soon.
Love you too, sweetie. Okay.
Bye.